So Nirvana is one of my favorite bands of all time, and well, not even one of, it is my favorite band of all time, and I have been collecting their music for not a very long time, admittedly, probably only 4 or 5 years now, but I have made an earnest effort to go and collect a ton of their music. So I'll be showing you my current, Nirvana CD collection, show you what I have, what I want, and stuff like that. So let me go get the CDs. Okay, so I'll start with the main albums first. Just go in chronological order for each of the releases or whatever. So yeah, the first one I have here is of course my copy of Bleach. It's just Bleach. That's all it is. This was one of the first Nirvana CDs I actually bought. Not really, I can't remember why, but yeah, that was one of the first ones. Then of course I have Nevermind. This is again one of the first CDs I purchased. It's just Nevermind. Nothing special about that. Unfortunately though, my copy of In Utero, I was kind of in a rush to buy In Utero, so it's missing the front cover. I love to own it. I might just rebuy it, to be honest. So yeah, just have my copy of In Utero here. Nothing special about it. Okay, next I'm going to be talking about the official compilation albums. Nirvana has released, I believe, they released a few. I'm missing two currently. Those being the Harmony EP, which I actually did buy, is coming currently, so that should be coming soon. And then the with the Lights Out box set, I still have not bought that. I really should. I don't know why I haven't. It's weird because I actually own a bootleg version of the DVD that comes with it. Here, I'll grab it. This is a Brazilian bootleg of the DVD. Yeah, and I own it, and I'm not really sure why I bought it. I don't think I even realized what I bought until I already bought it. But yeah, I own a Brazilian bootleg of the DVD, even though I could just own the DVD. But anyways, here are the Nirvana compilation albums. I'm also going to include compilation appearances because they made quite a few. I don't own a lot of them. In fact, I own just one of them. That is, of course, a Sub Pop 200 CD. This thing is quite cheap. I'm not going to talk about a lot of the main releases because you can find all the main Nirvana releases really cheap, not expensive at all. So I'll only really be talking about stuff like this. And this is Sub Pop 200 CD. This thing was on Spotify at one point, by the way, and they removed it, and I'm still mad at them for that. But you see, Nirvana is the third track right there with Spank Through, and yeah, it's a good version of Spank Through. I'm not really super into a lot of the other bands on here, but if you want to listen to some punk rock, rock music, grunge, stuff like that, this is a really good compilation album for that. So of course the first like demo and outtake and stuff, compilation stuff like that, was Incesticide. It has 15 tracks, and this thing's really good. But again, it's really just Incesticide. Nothing special about it. And then I have the Black Album. This is the only reason why you'd ever buy this is because of the first track, You're Right. First time this thing was released officially. And yeah, it's a cool track, I suppose. Yeah, it's a cool release. I believe this thing has like a pretty hefty booklet here, and just gives you kind of a breakdown of the band and about You're Right and stuff. It looks very cool too, by the way. I like how this thing looks. So yeah, but it's just It's just the Black Album. Over here we have Sliver Best of the Box. Yeah, I own this thing, but I don't own With the Lights Out. That kind of says more about me than it really should. But yeah, you have this thing. It has, 22 tracks, and this thing fucking sucks. It just sucks. If I remember correctly, the only unique tracks on here are Spank Through, Come As You Are, and by the way, Spank Through is, of course, the original 1986 demo, which is quite cool, but yeah, it's just Spank Through, the 1990 Jack and Dino Sappy demo, and then, I believe the Come As You Are boombox version. That's all that's on this. That's not on With the Lights Out. Everything else here, Heartbreaker, Miss Butterworth, stuff like that, it's all on With the Lights Out, so I wouldn't even bother with this thing, except for the additional 3 tracks, which, in my opinion, aren't really worth it because they all suck. They're just not good tracks. They're not, Spank Through has better versions live, Sappy has better versions. This is probably the worst version that there is. And then the Come As You Are is just the boombox version of Come As You Are, Then the last compilation album is the orange one. This thing is still sold in stores, I believe. I think I bought this at Walmart. This is the first Nirvana CD I own, and it's bad, really bad. It includes no actual tracks from Bleach, although it includes About a Girl. If I remember correctly, this was mainly so they didn't have to give Sub Pop any royalties, which is really funny when you think about it. But yeah, this thing sucks. It's just the Black Album, but worse. I wouldn't recommend picking this up unless you are getting into Nirvana, Okay, now we have the live albums, and there's only 3 live albums, which kind of surprised me because, there's multiple on Spotify, but I kind of later found out they don't really have individual CD versions, only with the anniversary editions. So, of course, first we have probably their best live performance, MTV Unplugged. Everyone knows it. It's a good performance. Would recommend. And then we have from the Muddy Bakes of the Wishka. This thing also kind of sucks. Really the only, nice thing or only bonus about this is that Spank Through is on this. Other than that, I wouldn't recommend picking this up. And the version of Spank Through on here is good, but I think there's better versions released, so And then, of course, we have Live at Reading. We have the Live at Reading CD. This thing is pretty good. This thing's pretty cool. A lot of people consider this their best performance. I think they have better. Still a really good performance though. It's also got some lesser played songs. It's actually an early version of All Apologies, which is my favorite version of the song. And it's also got, Lounge Act, and then, which is my favorite Nirvana song, and Spank Through is on this, so that's cool. I would recommend picking this up though. I think it's a pretty good release. Alright, then we have the singles. Weirdly, the only single you can currently buy is the Lithium single, and I don't know why. So, I only own 3 singles, unfortunately. I do plan to buy the rest of them, except for, the ones that cost an arm and a leg, the, Love Buzz, and then, the Love Buzz single, and then, Penny Royalty. I don't really care to buy those, so the first one we have here is Smells Like Teen Spirit. I actually bought this twice. I didn't mean to, but I did. Not worth it. I won't even bother buying the singles, but they're cool for what they are. They're kind of cool. And then I have the Come As You Are. I love this artwork. It's probably my favorite single artwork. I just think it looks so good. They have this gross ass picture on there. Unfortunately, this doesn't include any unique B-sides. At least with Smells Like Teen Spirit, it had, Even in His Youth and Aneurysm, which is really cool. But then the last one we have is Lithium. This actually includes 2 different songs, Benison and Curmudgeon, which Curmudgeon is a very, very underrated song. I quite enjoy that song. I actually like it more than Lithium and then Benison, which is funny because it's probably the least popular song on this single, so yeah. Out of those singles though, I wouldn't really recommend buying any of them, unfortunately, so. Okay, next I have my Outcesticide series. If you don't know what Outcesticide, that's a really hard word for me to say, by the way. But it was a very popular bootleg series back in the 90s, starting in 1994 and ending sometime in the late 90s. We don't entirely know because bootlegs, believe it or not, don't really have set production dates or anything, but yeah, I own almost the entire series. I recently just bought the first one, not the remastered edition, just the first one, because the remastered edition has higher quality tracks and 2 additional tracks. But I also technically own the first one. Yeah, I technically just own the first one. I guess yeah, I technically own the first one too, just not the same. So yeah, I guess I'll start. We have Outcesticide 1, In Memory of Kurt Cobain. This is probably my favorite one of the series. I think it just has the best mix of tracks in it. And yeah, from, you know, like Talk to Me and Spank Through and Blandis and the Sappy acoustic version, and then just Sappy. I definitely think this is like the best one in my opinion, but you know, sure someone will disagree. Then we have Outcesticide 2, The Needle and the Damage Done, right? Yeah, The Needle and the Damage Done. You kind of notice that with some of these that either the artwork is abysmal or the name is like really, just really bad, really bad. This one especially, The Needle and Damage Done, is really gross when you think about it because needle and damage done is, you know, heroin. This one's pretty good. It's got, you know, some good tracks on it. A cool thing about these is if you can see the track in his hands right there, I believe that's verse, chorus, verse, which is really cool that you have stuff like that. And It's Closing Soon, which is a song of Kurt and Courtney, is really good, so I would recommend this one too. Yeah, that's just side 3, The Final Solution. And He's Holding It Good. Yeah, again, it's another really, really gross one. Yeah, this one is kind of contested as both the best and the worst Outcesticide CD, which is kind of interesting. I think it's okay. It's like not my favorite. Again, the first one's probably my favorite, but this one's, you know, it's fine. This was also the first one I owned, and I'll show you my original copy, which is really not good. But yeah, just the first. It's just the third Outcesticide CD. Cool thing, the weird thing is to me, this thing was released in like it would have been after 1994, and the song "The Eagle Has Landed" is what's called, even though it's Tourette's. It could have just called Tourette's, but you know, whatever. It's even, yeah, it's right there. Then I have my Outcesticide for The Rape of the Vaults. Yeah, I don't really like this one very much. I don't like this one at all. I don't know, it's just mostly, it's not really anything new, it's mostly live tracks. The only thing that I think is interesting is that the happy guitar, I believe that's what it's called, is on here, Black, White, and Blues. Then Montage of Heck, and then Montage of Heck Part 2, which is actually just, people call it Escalator Hell, both on here. That's cool. Oh, also, people call this song Creation. It's called Bambi Slaughter on here, but that's also another neat track that's on here, so yeah, that's cool. Again, this one's not really my favorite. And we have Outcesticide 5, Disintegration. See, the thing is about this one, and then this one, people contest on whether or not these are official Blue Moon Records ones, because these two, or at least this one, is the only one that mentions this CD, even after all the rest of them. This one's the only one that mentions it, and you can see it right in here. It's the only one that mentions it. None of the other ones do. So it kind of has led people to believe that this isn't official, but at the same time, Blue Moon Records was going to release an Outcesticide 6, which never came to fruition, mainly because their bootlegs kind of died out in the early 2000s and late 90s, because everything was online, so there's no reason to buy them. But yeah, this thing is pretty cool. It doesn't really give you anything new though. That was kind of the problem with, see, the first few ones gave you some pretty new tracks, some pretty cool stuff. But as you went on, there wasn't a whole lot of stuff out there at that point. So these bootlegs couldn't really give us much at all. About the only thing that's worth it is that this is the only way to listen to You Know You're Right back in the day. It was an live track called Autopilot. It was also called On a Mountain and On Top of a Mountain, stuff like that. So this is my original copy of Outcesticide 3. Now if you see it, yeah, it's got really bad water damage. And this thing doesn't stay in here. Interesting thing about this version is that, if I remember correctly, this is Outcesticide 3 was the only CD to be sold. There's like specific versions sold in Asia, and this is one of them. So that's cool, I guess. Yeah, but I wanted to rebuy it because my version is heavily water damaged, so yeah. And then when I said I own the first Outcesticide CD, I technically do, because this is a copy of it, and this is Nirvana Unhappy. It's just a copy of it. I did buy Outcesticide 1 already, but, you know, this is still cool, I guess. But as you see, it's literally just the same track listing. So here are the rest of my bootlegs. Unfortunately, this one doesn't actually have a disc in it. I bought it without the disc, so I'm sure it would have been cool. But I don't know, because it doesn't have a disc in it, so I spent like $30 on that too. But this one does have a disc. This is a pretty well-known bootleg show. There's better versions of it, of course, but this is still pretty cool. I like the artwork of it. I would recommend to buy it if you wanted it. But yeah, it's just from Rome Performance in 1994. Weird thing is, some of the song names are spelled wrong. Like if you look here, Endless Destruction. I don't know why, but yeah. And this is one of the bootlegs you can buy on Amazon, believe it or not. This thing is cool. It's just live tracks. I believe the first one, yes, so the first one's from the Chaos Recordings. Disc 2 is from a broadcast from Italy. Disc 3 is from the broadcast of Argentina. If you remember when Kurt was really mad, that's the one where nobody knows when New Wave is from. Then the last one is just, I guess, rarities, just different broadcast rarities. If you're getting into buying bootlegs, this is a pretty cool pickup. It's cheap off Amazon, well worth it in my opinion if you're really starting to get into collecting bootlegs. The only problem is that opening is a little hard and closing. It's very stiff, but other than that, not a bad pickup. And the last things I have are just, these are just interview bootlegs. Nothing special. I'm not even really going to mention them because they're just interviews, so yeah. If you want to get into collecting Nirvana CDs, just collect what you want, honestly. There's no real guide I have to give anyone. I was just on Amazon and I got lucky with, you know, certain things. So yeah, I do enjoy collecting bootlegs, and currently I have Outcesticide 1 and then Harmony coming in. I want to get all the singles, you know, eventually, and then I'd like to get, you know, more bootlegs, obviously. I like a Season Hell or the Into the Black box. I think those would be cool to own. And then, another one would probably be like, I don't know. There isn't really, I guess with the Lights Out box set, but there really isn't a whole lot I want to own. I still gotta get all the albums on vinyl. And there's still a couple, I want to own all the Nirvana movies and stuff, but, you know, for right now, I'm pretty satisfied for where my collection is, and I hope it gets bigger eventually, you know, but, yeah. So, if you're as big of a Nirvana fanatic as I am, have a nice day.